We've visited and it's been awesome. And the barbecue on Memorial Day is really nice. I like them, so thanks. And good luck. All right, bye.
Okay, Joe's going to have a worship talk for us at this time.
The criminal.
Saying goodbye is not fun, is it? It's not fun at all. Because we grieve over having that intimate relationship with you guys that we've had for quite a while. But it can be fun as we begin to think about the things that you guys have talked about tonight. There's a lot more stories out there. I got a couple I could tell, but I probably shouldn't.
Please do.
A few years ago, God gave this body a gift. The Bible calls it a present in the form of a pastor. That was Brian. Pretty good gift, huh?
Oh, amen. Hallelujah.
A couple things that I've really appreciated about Brian, which you may think is kind of odd, but God talks to him. And you say, big deal, you know, God talks to all of us. Well, Brian hears him. And I think what's even more amazing is that he obeys him. And I think that's really an amazing thing about Brian. I've appreciated that about you, Brian. Not only do you hear God, but you obey him. And it doesn't seem like it's a struggle. It just seems like it's a character that you have. And I think it's cool. I hope you never lose that. Brian is a visionary. He sees the possibilities. And he asks, why not? And the church asks, why? And maybe Jesus says, what? But it's cool having a visionary as a pastor. It's really cool because he sees things that we can't imagine. You feel that? I think we've all experienced that. Brian sees things that we can't imagine. And that's what's really cool about this body, is that God has taken us through Brian, taken us places we never thought we'd ever go. I think that's an amazing thing. Starting the experience, is that a big deal?
Yeah.
People can sit around and think, well, you know, what's so hard about that? I mean, you know, anybody can start a church. And I'm reminded of the story of Christopher Columbus. You remember him, don't you? 1492. And he's back at the tavern after he discovers America. And he's sitting with the guys there talking, and they're all saying, what's the big deal about you finding America? I mean, anybody can do that, you know. And so he grabs an egg off the counter and he hands it to him and he says, can you stand this egg on end? And so they said, can you? He said, yeah. So, well, they tried. So they're sitting there for about a half an hour trying to get this thing, you know, to stand on end. And they can't do it. Finally they said, okay, let's see you do it. So he said, okay. So he takes the egg and he smashes the end of it like that and sits it down there on its end. They said, well, we could have done that. He says, but you didn't. Starting a church like this place, people might look on now and say, well, gee, that's easy to do. But it's not. And a lot of people who may have been critics never did it. none of us will really ever know what Brian has gone through as a pastor here. You know your individual story, don't you? You know the struggles that you had and what you went through. And now multiply that times the hundreds of people who have come through this place. And you might sense a bit of the burden that Brian has carried for the past 5 or 6 years. And not only that, as he's growing this body, you know, God also wants to grow him. Kind of be nice if you could like do it serially, you know, one after the other instead of all at the same time.